in an urban area that's trying to provide food for her kids, you actually want her to pay a delivery fee to get, which may cost more than the food she's actually trying to spend to provide healthy food for her kids. Is that what you're telling me, Senator
No,
Mays?
that is not what I said, Senator. I do not want her to do that, this single mom. I'm saying it's availability, because you said it's not available. They have no options, and that is
Delivery
not actually.
charge. So, but I did hear you say that, and I'm trying to make sure we both are heard here, sir. But this is real kind of sensitive to me, because since 2007 I've been here. I've been trying to pass bills for, urban farming, which we desperately need in the urban areas. I've been trying to pass bill for tax credits so we can get grocery stores in our food desert areas. Have you thought about any of those options? Because what you're telling me is you want a mom to pay for a delivery charge for an Amazon or a Google or some type for some fresh vegetables to bring to her, expensive fresh vegetables at that, to bring to her kids when she's trying to provide food for 7 kids on a SNAP budget, but you want her to spend some of her SNAP money for food delivery service. Is that right?
No. You were asking about availability. There is availability. There are existing federal rules that require these staple items to be available, and I do want more programs like Bonton Farms and
Senator Mays, believe me, I wanted to. Believe me, I do, brother. I've been working since 2007 to try to get it. I wanted to. I want healthy foods in my community.
I want another Bonton Farms. We need more of those. That's in Center West District. They do great work. I think this bill will actually help them at the end of the day.
It sounds, but the reality of it is what?
The reality is we have to satisfy the intent of this program, which is nutritious food essential to health and well-being. And look, we know we've got a problem with healthcare costs going out of control. We know we've got a problem with what's happening in Medicaid. I mean, just for an example right here, there is an overlap of about 2.6 million people on SNAP that are on Medicaid, and that's about $29 billion.
I need you to understand, you're not going to get any argument from me on any of those statistics. You're not going to get any argument from me. I'm just looking at the cold reality of this. How do we get accessibility? Okay? Wouldn't it be better if we pass some of it and put some of our resources into some tax credits for some grocery stores that want to move into some of our food deserts? Wouldn't that make more sense? Or wouldn't it make more sense that we fund and put together some of these urban farm programs so that, people can do for themselves in the neighborhood and grow their own fruit and vegetable? Wouldn't that make a lot of sense?
All issues for different bills on a different day. But one thing we know, and you and I know this, what taxpayer-funded junk food does.
I'm going to agree with you.
Taxpayer-funded junk food, turns into taxpayer-funded health care. You know this.
I've already said, you're not going to get any argument out of me, Senator.
We got to have some solutions.
You're not going to get any argument out of me on that. Okay? I just want you to understand my standpoint, my view. Wouldn't it make more sense when we put some resources and put some grocery stores in some of our urban areas and some of our rural areas? Wouldn't it make more sense to finance and put some money and some resources toward some of our urban farming efforts? That's all I'm asking. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Senator Kolkhorst. For what purpose?
To ask the gentleman some questions.
Do you yield?
I do. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, thank you for this bill. I think it's the right discussion. It's something that we've talked about. I remember being on the Senate, the House floor when I was a House member. We've talked about off and on for years. And so a lot of good conversations with my colleagues. This is instructing HHSC to seek a waiver from the USDA. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And we do this waiver in a number of different, we do waivers. HHSC does waivers all the time on state amendment plans for Medicaid, for different things, right?
Very often. Yeah.
So I want to talk about food deserts for just a second, because I am sensitive to that. I am sensitive to that. The children today, obesity is unfortunately becoming somewhat of a pandemic in our society, with nearly maybe even over 20% of the children being impacted by obesity. And so one of the things that I learned through the layout of your bill is the number one purchased product with food stamps or SNAP is sugary drinks. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's hundreds of millions of dollars a year is going to sodas and other sweetened beverages.
Right. So, and we're learning that sugar, and again, we all like it. I can have a Coca-Cola with the best of them every now and again. We're finding out that dementia may be type 3 diabetes, correct?
Well, I've seen that research as well. It's pretty scary, to see these numbers too, and the amount of Americans and Texans that already have diabetes, and then hear that. It's very concerning.
So about the food deserts, and I think we had a pretty good discussion in the hearing, but this is something that I want to say for the food deserts. And I think the challenge is on the food deserts is, where can you purchase? And that's why a long time ago, the USDA allowed convenience stores to be able to accept SNAP. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
And so what a convenience store operator, I know a little bit about this, Jimmy and I chose not to accept SNAP because we did not sell anything of value, nutritional value is my standard, that I said, I don't want to accept SNAP because we do not have the offerings that I think should be purchased by SNAP. This was long ago. We're out of that business. But what will happen, and I'll ask this as a question, is the USDA comes back and says these are the accepted items, and then that's dispensed, whether it's to a grocery store or to convenience stores. And is it true that convenience stores use wholesalers like GSC, Brenham Wholesale back in the day, McLean, and those wholesalers will have a list of everything that qualifies? Is that correct?
That's correct. They largely do that for them.
So if my percentage of sales at a convenience store as a convenience store operator is X percent of SNAP benefits, does it behoove that operator of that store to say then to their wholesaler, they are not going to be responsible for it because I don't know of a convenience store operator that does their own set. They are going to say to their wholesaler, I want you to fill my shelves full of those things that are accepted by SNAP because I have X amount, a percentage of my consumers, my customers, the people that I serve, use their SNAP benefit card here.
That's right. It's a big incentive for them to make sure they're fulfilling this program and make sure they've got SNAP eligible products on the shelves. And, HHSC does not regulate retailers right now. They don't do that. This is a federal program that tells, obviously, every state that requests a waiver what they will accept in the program and what they will not. And obviously the wholesalers are very well equipped to keep track of that and only distribute. You could put in a request, hey, only distribute SNAP eligible items to us, and they'd do that.
And so while we want them to buy fresh foods, potentially, there's other foods of value that would qualify at convenience stores, correct? And there are food deserts right now all across our state, all across our country in different places. But potentially this could actually, change the market mix of what you see on the shelves to healthier foods, which mothers are attaining a lot of their purchases wherever they can, especially when they're a busy mom trying to put food on the table. Is that correct?
That's right. And, we keep saying year after year, we're not happy with the increase in healthcare costs. We're not happy with the decline in life expectancy and decline in quality of living. And we have a chance to do something about it with this bill.
Well, and I do think, and to Senator Johnson's point, last session I carried a bill that it gave you double the amount on your SNAP card if you actually shopped at a market, a food market in one of our farm to market kind of settings. And I do think that there could be some value as we move through, if we were able to get the waiver to say the state of Texas values fresh food so much that we're going to give you more on this card, or if you have to use some of the other not traditional methods of having food delivered, that we could potentially look at that in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good luck with this. And I think it's all a part of making Texas healthy again. We've got a few bills that we're sending to the House. The House and Representative Lacey Hull, Chair Hull, is sending some bills over here that are unique to her package. And if we're able to coordinate this all the way through, I do think that we're going to have healthier children and healthier families, and it'll give them a new start on life. So thank you so much.
Senator, thank you for your leadership on this, and Senate Bill 25, and of course all the other bills that have gone through your committee to help make sure, that next generation and this generation of Texans are healthier and have healthier options and choices, and aren't being made sick by a lot of these products that we've worked on this session, like with Senator Hughes's bill as well. So thank you, Senator.
Senator Alvarado, are you back? Your red light's not right. All right. The motion is on suspend the regular order of business. Secretary will call the roll.
Alvarado, Betancourt, Bardwell.
22 ayes, 9 nays. Rule is suspended. Chair lays out second reading. Senate Bill 379. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 379, relating to prohibiting the purchase of certain food and drink items under the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Following amendment. Secretary will read the amendment.
Floor Amendment number 1 by Menendez.
Senator Alvarado on the Menendez amendment. I know he's not here today.
Thank you. Obviously, I'm not Senator Menendez. He's not here. But he did ask to have this amendment laid out. Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this amendment would make it so that the bill does not apply to SNAP recipients who reside in a federally designated food desert from this prohibition. We know that many folks receiving SNAP benefits are unable to access fresh foods, often resorting to buy junk food from local gas stations and dollar stores because that's the only grocery store around. If these folks could buy fresh, healthy foods, they would.
Senator Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I respectfully oppose this amendment. It only applies to grocery stores, and as we know, there are a lot of SNAP vendors that are not that. And there's nothing wrong with the dollar store, by the way. A lot of SNAP recipients go to that, and it does have some healthy items, minimum of 36, as already required by federal law. So I respectfully oppose this amendment.
Secretary will call the roll on the amendment. Secretary, call the roll.
Alvarado, Betancourt, Bardwell.
10 yes votes, 20 nays. The amendment fails. Members, the following amendment. Secretary, read the amendment.
Floor Amendment number 2 by Gutierrez.
Senator Gutierrez on your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, this is an important amendment, and it's a pro-Texas amendment. I hope everybody will listen to me on this one. The fact is, a family of 4 SNAP benefits is about $835. That's in Texas as of October of last year. Sometimes we assume that these people aren't working, but these are working class families, sometimes working 2 jobs, and they're making, it's just difficult to make ends meet. The income limit on that is $4,100. So less than $4,125, you're eligible to receive the SNAP benefit of $835. My amendment is simple. It's a buy Texas amendment, pro-Texas amendment. I'm going to give you an idea of some manufacturers that are SNAP eligible. Bluebell Ice Cream out of a carton is SNAP eligible. made in Senator Colcourt's district. Dr. Pepper, founded in Waco, SNAP eligible. Mars Snacks has a manufacturing plant in Waco, SNAP eligible. Heinz Ketchup. Tyson Chicken is SNAP eligible and is also processed, by the way. And it's processed here in this state. What this amendment does is it prohibits the purchase of, it tells the commission that they may not prohibit the purchase of any food or beverage item produced or processed or manufactured within the state of Texas. And produced goes on to tell you what produced means. The importance of this is that these working class folks might be working at Bluebell, might be working at the PepsiCo that manufactures the products that they sell here in Texas, or Coca-Cola, or Mars, or Heinz, or Tyson. And so this is a Buy Pro-Texas amendment. At the end of the day, we all want people to eat healthier. But while we're only giving a family of four $835, that's what everybody here is trying to say. It's not enough money to buy the healthy food, the fruits, and the vegetables that we want people to eat. And God forbid we would tell a family, mom and dad that's working 2 jobs, God forbid that they can't tell their little boy that got straight A's, he can't have a little pint of Bluebell ice cream. And so that's what this amendment does. It protects products that are produced and processed, manufactured here within the state of Texas, so we're not harming our farmers, our ranchers, our producers of Bluebell ice cream and Dr. Pepper and everything that we hold dear.
Senator Middleton on the amendment.
Thank you, Senator Gutierrez. I know you're a pro-Texas farmer. Senator, we've had conversations on that. Bluebell's not prohibited under this request for a waiver, by the way. So they may add that, actually, the USDA. I don't know. It's up to them. But the problem is this violates the intent of the program. You could still have candies, sodas, chips, cookies under this amendment, which obviously doesn't satisfy the intent of the program, which is nutritious food essential to health and well-being. So I respectfully oppose the amendment.
Secretary will call the roll on the amendment.
Alvarado, Bettencourt, Birdwell.
10 ayes, 21 nays. The amendment fails. You're now recognized to engrossment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I move passage to engrossment.
Secretary will call the roll when ready.
Alvarado, Bettencourt, Birdwell.
22 ayes and 8 nays. The bill passed to engrossment. Do you want to find 2 friends?
I'll look.
Do it quickly.
Senator Middleton, you're recognized for a motion to suspend the constitutional 3-day rule.
Thank you, Mr. President. So move.
Senator Middleton moves suspension of the 3-day rule. Secretary will call the roll.
Alvarado, Betancourt, Birdwell, Blanco, Campbell.
24 ayes, 6 nays. The rules are suspended. Chair lays out on third reading and final passage of Senate Bill 379. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Bill 379 relating to prohibiting the purchase of certain food and drink items under the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Senator Middleton, you're recognized for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, let's make Texas healthy again. I move final passage on SB 379.
Senator Middleton moves final passage of Senate Bill 379. The Secretary will call the roll.
Alvarado, Betancourt, Birdwell, Blanco, Campbell.
22 ayes, 8 nays. The bill is finally passed. Congratulations. Following bills on first reading and reference to committee, the Secretary will read the bills.
Senate Bill 2623 by Creighton relating to establishment and enforcement of school safety zones to education K through 16. Senate Bill 2624 by Creighton relating to the provision of services for individuals experiencing homelessness at certain locations to education K through 16.
The President's desk is clear. Are there any announcements? Senator Huffman, you're recognized.
Mr. President, members, I move to suspend the 24-hour posting rule in accordance with Senate Rules 11.10 and 11.18, so the Senate Committee on Finance can meet today, March 31st, 2025, in 2E9, the Senate Press Room, immediately upon adjournment to consider pending business. I move suspension.
Senator Huffman, we're going to recess today.
So,
Is there objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion is adopted.
upon the recess.
Senator Betancourt, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Committee on Local Government will reconvene our hearing today 30 minutes upon recess and extension E1.028. So that should be almost exactly the bottom of the hour, Mr. President, 6:30. If everybody can get there, we're going to do, we've only got 4 bills to go, and we do have some voting to do. Thank you.
Senator Hughes, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, and members and those participating in the State Affairs hearing that began this morning. We will reconvene at 6:15 here in the chamber. So State Affairs will reconvene at 6:15 today or this evening here in the chamber. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members.
Chair recognizes the Dean of the Senate for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate recess until 11 a.m. Tuesday, April 1st.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. The Senate stands in recess until 11 a.m. Tuesday, April the 1st.